welcome back. It's a hidden world the size of Vermont just off the Florida coast. Dan Smith dives into the ongoing research of deep sea coral in your moment of science.
Coral reefs are some of the most biodiverse environments on the planet, yet many of us will never see them in person. Dr. Derek Sowers is part of a team of researchers dedicated to discovering these denizens of the deep.
They grow in different patterns, different densities of mounds, different heights, depending on where you are. So it's a very dynamic and diverse sort of underwater landscape out there.
For the last decade or so, Dr. Sowers and crew have been centering their studies around deep sea coral along the Blake Plateau off the U.S. coastline between North Carolina and Florida. Much of it was thought to be soft sediment with patchy coral communities.
This area was known since the 1960s to have important deep sea corals, communities growing there. What we really lacked was the mapping technology to map the full extent of these mounds.
Funding was a factor, as was having enough shipboard time for the mission, but over 10 years using multiple ships, the team mapped nearly 46,000 square miles of ocean floor, making hundreds of dives to verify their finds.
These ships have a multi-beam sonar, which is actually a sonar mounted to the bottom of the ship. As the ship moves along, it maps kind of a large swath of seafloor. And then by moving the ship back and forth over time, you basically stitch together those swaths and you get a complete 3D model of the seafloor, and you can reveal these cold water coral mound structures.
The names deep sea or cold water coral give you big hints as to where they reside in temperatures as low as 39 degrees Fahrenheit. They may seem like they're dead or dying, but don't let that bleached look fool you.
They don't rely on the same energy pathway as a shallow water coral, so they don't actually have any photosynthetic algae associated with them. Instead, they get their energy supplies simply from filter feeding, particles that are coming down from above.
There's an oceanic conveyor belt that provides a reliable train of nutrients to these corals in particular.
It's actually right in the main sort of axis of the Gulf Stream current as it comes around Florida and moves northward. In the Atlantic, current's moving this food so where the corals can access it.
Corals host nearly a quarter of all marine life, and shape plays a key role.
That framework, that reef that's built by these corals is really important for lots of other invertebrates to settle in, other deep sea corals, sponges, and fish. So it's really a robust community that's supported by this reef structure.
So you may not find Nemo all the way down here, but Dr. Sowers says the importance of these reefs cannot be overstated.
I like to think of it that if you kind of could drain the ocean and look at some of these areas, they would probably be like recognized as national parks or national monuments. We just wanted to make sure that we really put all that data together and shared it with the public in a way that people could understand the importance of what's out there.
For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Every time